Hey there folks, Slippery Slope here. This is Java tutorial number 20. Before I start, I want to congratulate all of you. You are now around 20 to 25% of the way through the Beginner's Java series, but there is sort of a slight catch, and that is things are going to start picking up, and we're going to start building like programs that are pretty cool for someone who's just now starting out. And once we cover things that I've already covered in detail, I'm going to be a little quicker to go through them and assume, hey, this guy or gal knows what I'm talking about because I cover this in tutorial number 8, 9, 10, 12, whatever. So, alright. I already went ahead and programmed all the stuff for this tutorial, but I am going to delete all of it, or I'm going to keep this class and method header here and my squiggly brackets and the stuff in here, and you might be like, dude, you have an extra class. How did that happen? Well, I have a lot of class, but besides that, let's say you want to get a job as a Java developer, as a software engineer, and one of your skills, and they do like it if you know multiple languages, and Java is a wonderful basis, they want you to be able to create multiple classes. I don't know what sort of Java job would say, oh, you can just keep making one class and sending it in. And some college courses are going to be like that too. Now, it's nothing to be scared about. It's nothing to think you can't do. But it is something you're going to need some practice with, and we're going to go over it, so no need to stress. Now, to create a second class, what you would want to do is you want to right-click the source file, or the source folder, rather, and then you want to hit New, and then you want to hit Class, and then you name it whatever, and I name mine Pip, that's P-I-P, and the first P is capitalized. And once you're ready, and the good news is because you already clicked the source folder, you're already good to go. So for me, it says type already exists because I already created it, so I'm going to escape out of that or hit cancel if you want it. But if you want to do things exactly the way I'm doing them, make sure you have a class named Pip. Alright, well, we got that part down. I'm going to tell you what public means, because we've been using this keyword for a while now, and I haven't really had the chance to go over it because we were too busy going over some smaller details. When something's public, that means the method can be accessed outside of the object. So because this is a public method, this is a public class, it can be accessed outside. And a private is the other way of putting it, and my pip class, I had a line that said private. That means that the methods can be accessed only inside the object. Essentially, I was going to try to say that in a clever way, and I was going to twist my words, but it's exclusive to the object's innards, so to speak. It's a way of protecting information from outside impervious, oh man, penetration. There we go. It's a way to just keep your object safe and sound within that range and not have an outside source come in and wreck it up. Now in pip, because I'm sure you've already created it, we are going to want to put public void the news. And remember, this part, we want the first letter in the first word to be under lowercase. I almost said underscore. And the second word we want to begin with a capital letter. Also, you don't want that random bracket. Remember, we want the squiggly after the class and the squiggly after the method header. Now, this is still public, so no need to fear about that. Void means that we're not returning information. Simple as that. In the future, we're going to talk about returns and go into voids and stuff in more detail. But here's what we want this method to do. System.out. Let's just say print a whole new world, like that song from Aladdin, and we're going to have a semicolon at the end of it. Well, great. Now we have this information, but in Mr. Dumble, we don't have anything other than a class header and a method header. Try running it, and you get a bunch of emptiness. Reason is because even though we have a main here, we don't have anything inside of it. We don't have any orders, you know. So let's create a pip object, because you remember why we create a new object. Objects store data and procedures, and in this case we absolutely need to create a new object or we can't do that stuff. And I'm going to type this up and I will explain what this means. And remember, take away this object and you get an error. And it says pip object cannot be resolved. So in order for that object, you need to have an object that Java can resolve. Otherwise, you're writing it up and having it call a method, and it's just like, okay, what the freak is this? So yeah, we could also rename stuff. We could call this monster puss, and we could call this monster puss. But why would we want to do that when we could just call it, say, pip object? There we go. So what we did with this line is we have the news. This is our method, as you may recall, from pip, and we don't need to have a main method in here. We already have a main method in Mr. Dumble. We don't want to, in this case, we don't want to put in another main here. So it calls this the news, and then it should output this to your screen and my screen. So let's save it. Or rather, let's just run it. And a whole new world prints out. Now, that is pretty straightforward. Heck, we only put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code. But the important thing is that you understand this concept, because we're going to build on this going into the future. So remember, we have our main method here. And then we had to create a new object. And then we use this object and have this dot here, and that means we're going to call this method the news, and you're going to want to get used to see two parentheses and your semicolon at the end of the line, but these two parentheses and this name of the method right here when you're calling it right after a period. And there you go. Calls this stuff. Outputs it. Straightforward. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again. Slippery Slope signing out. Peace.